There has been no decision yet on the appointment of the 10th Prime Minister and formation of a new federal government following the conclusion of the 15th general election. Pakatan Harapan PH Chairman Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that during his audience with Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah this afternoon. His Majesty emphasised the need for consensus and cooperation among all parties so that a strong government could be formed to safeguard the people's interests and resuscitate the economy.
Saya junjung kasih kerana tuanku titah menghadap untuk menyampaikan pandangan tuanku bahawa perlu ada kesepakatan bersama semua pihak supaya kerajaan itu kukuh dan boleh tumpu perhatian menjaga kepentingan rakyat dan memulih ekonomi. Dan kerajaan yang ditubuhkan kelak insya-Allah harus mewakili semua pihak, semua kaum, semua wilayah. Jadi maknanya inklusif dalam arti kita sebenarnya.
Datuk Seri Anwar, who won the Tambun seat in GE15 last Saturday, confirmed that his name was the only one submitted by PH to Istana Negara for the post of Prime Minister. Anwar also said that for now, the question of forming a minority government did not arise. Perikatan Nasional rejected a proposal by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong to form a unity government with Pakatan Harapan, according to Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. The Perikatan chairman said it has always been the coalition's stand of not cooperating with Pakatan in a unity government.
Tuanku mencadangkan supaya kita bekerjasama dengan PH, Pakatan Harapan, untuk membentuk unity government. Unity government atau kerajaan perpaduan apalah. Tetapi kami telah membincang perkara itu sejak awal lagi. Kami tidak akan bekerjasama dengan PH, Pakatan Harapan. Itu pendirian parti kita sejak dulu sampai ke hari ini. Atas tujuan apa sekalipun, unity ke apa semua sekali, kita putus, kita tak bersetuju.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this in a press conference outside his house in Bukit Amansara today, shortly after returning from an audience with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong at Istana Negara. Both he and Pakatan Harapan Chairman Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim were summoned by the King as no coalition had the majority following the 50th general election. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said he had submitted statutory declaration of 115 members of Parliament to Istana Negara yesterday. Following the unresolved deadlock between Pakatan Harapan and Perikatan Nasional, Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah today summoned 30 Barisan Nasional BN members of Parliament for an audience which will be held individually at Istana Negara 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Comptroller of the Royal Household for Istana Negara Datuk Seri Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin said it was the next step after the audience with the leaders from both PH and PN this afternoon at Istana Negara. Datuk Seri Ahmad Fadil said the purpose of the audience was for Sultan Abdullah to be able to make a decision to appoint an MP who, in His Majesty's wisdom, would command majority support as Prime Minister as provided under Article 43, Subsection 2, Subsection A of the Federal Constitution. His Majesty calls and advises all Malaysians to be patient and calm until the process of forming a new government and the appointment of 10th Prime Minister is completed. His Majesty also called upon the people to pray that the process would go smoothly for the sake of this beloved nation. Earlier, PH Chairman Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin were granted an audience by Sultan Abdullah at Istana Negara after no MP received a simple majority to be appointed as the Prime Minister as provided under Article 43, Subsection 2, Subsection A of the Federal Constitution. The simple majority to form a government is 112 seats, but currently there is the hung parliament where no party or coalition of parties obtain a simple majority to form federal government. Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS Chairman Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg refuses to comment further on the action the coalition will take after BN has decided not to join any coalition to form the federal government. He said any action taken will depend on the decision by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah.
Tengoklah, saya belum tahu keputusan Agong. Okay.
Tan Sri Abang Johari, who is also the Sarawak Premier, was met after attending the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly sitting. Previously on Sunday, GPS announced its readiness to form a coalition with PN, BN as well as GRS and throw its support for Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as their candidate to be the next Prime Minister. Caretaker Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the current government or caretaker government under his leadership and the caretaker cabinet will continue to function.
Kerajaan ini masih kekal sebagai kerajaan caretaker. Kerajaan caretaker. Sendiri rakyat jangan keliru seolah-olah sekarang ini tidak ada kerajaan. Kerajaan lama masih kekal iaitu tapi sebagai kerajaan sementara caretaker government. Malah kabinet yang lepas pun masih berfungsi iaitu sebagai caretaker kabinet.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said a special parliament session would be held to table a budget so as to pay the salary of civil servants before 31st December if a new government has not been formed. He said the special parliament session would be a brief session with no debates held and urged civil servants to remain calm and not to worry about their salary payment. The MCA is prepared to fulfill its role as an effective opposition by being a check and balance to the new government, according to its president, Datuk Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong. He said the MCA will remain steadfast in prioritising the people's interest, whether as a government or as an opposition. He said Barisan Nasional's BN rejection to join any coalition to form the government is a demonstration of a healthy and mature democratic process of the nation and MCA respect the people's wish.
Dalam situasi yang tidak mendapat mandat rakyat dan tidak mampu membentuk kerajaan, parti MCA telah bersedia memainkan peranan sebagai parti pembangkang demi semak dan imbang kerajaan yang akan ditubuhkan kelak. Asas penubuhan MCA adalah untuk membela nasib rakyat tidak kira sebagai kerajaan maupun sebagai pembangkang dan ini tidak akan sedikit pun membantutkan peranan MCA.
He said this during a press conference at Wisma MCA in Kuala Lumpur today. When asked about what will happen to Pakatan Harapan and Perikatan Nasional if they do not have enough seats to form a government, he wished them good luck. Earlier, UMNO Vice President Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob posted on his Twitter account saying that BN's Supreme Council decided not to support any coalition to form a new government and is prepared to be the opposition. 10 members of the Perak State Legislative Assembly today took their oaths as a member of the Perak State Executive Council (EXCO). All the assemblymen were sworn in before the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, in a brief ceremony held at Istana Iskandariah at 11:36 this morning. They consist of 3 assemblymen from UMNO, 4 from DAP, 2 from PKR and 1 from Amanah who have all been approved by Sultan Nazrin. Representing UMNO are Lintang Assemblyman Datuk Muhammad Zulkafli Harun, Temenggor Assemblyman Salbiah Muhammad and Belanja Assemblyman Khairuddin Abu Hanifah. Meanwhile, representing PKR are Muhammad Azlan Hilmi Tualang Sekah and Sandria Eng Shai Ching Teja, as well as the Sungai Rapat Assemblyman, who's also the former Perak Menteri Besar, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Niza Jamaluddin. While from DAP are former State Exco A. Sivanesan, who's also the Sungai Assemblyman, Loh Tzi Yi Jalong, Teh Kok Lim Olong and Wu Kah Leong Pasir Bedamar. All of them then signed a letter of appointment witnessed by the Chief Judge of the Ipoh High Court, Datuk Abdul Wahab Muhammad. Kota Tampan Assemblyman Datuk Seri Sakrani Muhammad took the oath of office as the 14th Menteri Besar of Perak for a new term before Sultan Nazrin Shah at 5:40 p.m. yesterday. PH and BN agreed to cooperate to form the state government after they won 24 and 9 seats respectively in GE15, while PN obtained 26 seats. Sanglang Assemblyman Muhammad Shukri Ramli was sworn in as the new Menteri Besar of Perlis today. Muhammad Shukri, 61, received his letter of appointment from the Raja of Perlis, Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Putra Jamalul Lail, at the swearing-in ceremony held at the Green Room in Istana Arau at 4 p.m. Also present at the ceremony was the Raja Muda of Perlis, Tuanku Syed Faizuddin Putra Jamalul Lail. Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin consented Muhammad Shukri's appointment based on the Perlis State Constitution. The appointment of the Perlis Perikatan Nasional PN Chairman as Menteri Besar was agreed upon by the coalition's top leadership, who then presented his name to the Perlis ruler on 20th November. Muhammad Shukri, who's also Perlis Past Commissioner, have been Sanglang Assemblyman for 3 consecutive terms since 2013. In the 15th general election, PN took control of Perlis with a landslide victory, winning 14 of the 15 seats it contested, in addition to 3 parliamentary seats, namely Palang Besar, Arau and Kanga. Coming up next, MCMC advises against instigation of hatred and provocation on social media. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, has reminded social media users not to instigate hatred and provocation against the royal institution, race and religion. MCMC Interim Chairman Tan Sri Muhammad Salim Fatih then said the public should exercise prudence when using social media and avoid expressing negative views involving race and religion. In a statement today, he said all parties should respect the election results and the selection of the Prime Minister that will be made by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong with an open heart. He added that MCMC would continue monitoring to curb the spread of false and offensive statements involving the 3 Rs, namely royalty, religion and race. Sharing any false, offensive and threatening content is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. And if convicted, can be fined a maximum of 50,000 ringgit or jailed for a year or both. Tan Sri Muhammad Salim said joint enforcement action with the Royal Malaysia Police would be taken against those involved based on complaints from members of the public in accordance with the existing legal provisions to protect public order and interests. The Royal Malaysian Police PDRM has received a total of 3,483 reports related to the 15th general election from 4th November to yesterday. PDRM G15 Operations Director Datuk Seri Hazani Ghazali said of the total, Kedah recorded the highest number of reported offences at 453, followed by Selangor 449, Pahang 433, Kelantan 432, Perak 335 and Johor 304. In a statement today, he said a total of 236 reports were received in Negeri Sembilan, 224 in Kuala Lumpur, 214 in Perlis, 120 in Sabah, Sarawak 88, Penang 85, Terengganu 63 and in Malacca 47. A total of 515 investigation papers have been opened, 180 cases have been referred to the Deputy Public Prosecutor, adding that 6 individuals were charged and 4 convicted. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Hazani, who is also Bukit Aman's International Security and Public Order Department Director, said yesterday that 6 investigation papers had been opened, involving 2 in Kelantan and 1 each in Perak, Malacca, Johor and Sabah. Police busted a drug trafficking syndicate after arresting a man and seizing shabu worth 834,768 ringgit during a raid in Malacca last night. Malacca Police Chief Datuk Zainul Samah said the 50-year-old suspect was arrested at a roadside at 12:10 a.m. by a team of officers and members of the Narcotics Crime Investigation Department from the Malacca Police Contingent Headquarters and the 6th Battalion General Defence Force PGA 6 in Johor. According to Datuk Zainul, upon inspection, police found shabu weighing 23.10 kilograms in a Proton Saga driven by the suspect believed to be acting as a transporter. He said the raid was carried out as a result of intelligence from police over the past month. It was suspected that the drugs were brought from Klang Valley.
Hasil daripada serbuan ke atas sebuah kereta, pasukan polis telah berjaya menangkap satu lelaki tempatan yang berumur 50 tahun. Jumlah keseluruhan dadah yang dirampas ini boleh digunakan seramai 115,720 orang untuk penagih dadah.
Datuk Zainul said urine screening test on the man returned negative and a criminal record check found that the suspect had 4 previous records related to the Common Gaming Houses Act, Immigration and Corrosive and Explosive Substances and Offensive Weapons Act. The suspect is remanded for 7 days starting today until 29 November and the case is being investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. The man who was seen abusing his wife in a video which went viral recently has been sentenced to 3 months in jail and fined 2,000 ringgit by the Kajang Magistrates Court today. Magistrate Siti Norazlin Nik Muhammad Faiz handed down the sentence on businessman Ridwan Mahmud, 58, after he pleaded guilty to the charge. The court ordered the accused to serve his prison sentence from the date of his arrest on 19 November and serve another month in jail if he fails to pay the fine. Ridwan was charged with voluntary causing hurt to Adrina Muhammad Arif, 45, by hitting and kicking her at their home at Batu Sembilan Ceras at 5:13 p.m. on 14 November. The charge was framed under Section 323 of the Penal Code, provides for a maximum prison sentence of 1 year or a fine of up to 2,000 ringgit or both. Lawyers representing the accused, Muhammad Shafiq Ahmad Bazari, appealed for a light sentence on the grounds that his client, who has 2 children and had repented and promised not to repeat the offence. Deputy Public Prosecutor, however, urged for a deterrent sentence as the lesson for the accused to be wise in his action in the future. Recently, a 67-second long clip on TikTok showed a long-haired man dragging a woman and kicking her on the face and body. A little girl was also seen crying and apologizing to the individual. In our foreign front, no Malaysians affected by Indonesian quake yesterday. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake killed more than 160 people and injured hundreds in Indonesia's West Java province yesterday. The epicenter was located near the town of Cianjur in mountainous West Java, about 75 kilometers southeast of capital Jakarta, and is home to over 2.5 million people residents. Herman Suherman, head of Cianjur's government, said that 162 people had been killed. Indonesia's Disaster Mitigation Agency BNPB still placed the death toll at 62 and rescuers were searching for 25 suspected to be trapped under rubble. BNPB said more than 2,200 houses had been damaged and more than 5,300 people had been displaced. Officials were still working to determine the full extent of the damage caused by the quake, which struck at a relatively shallow depth of 10 kilometers, according to the Weather and Geophysics Agency, BMKG. Wisma Putra has revealed that no Malaysians have been reportedly affected by the 5.6 magnitude earthquake in the Cianjur district, West Java in Indonesia yesterday. This was confirmed based on a statement issued today. It said that Malaysians who required consular assistance or had any further questions could contact the Malaysian Embassy in Jakarta. The Embassy of Malaysia in Jakarta can be reached by calling the number and email addresses shown on your screen. The earthquake was reported to have occurred yesterday at 1:21 p.m. local time in West Java, about 110 kilometers from Jakarta. The earthquake has reportedly claimed 162 lives so far, with a high amount of infrastructure damage. 38 people were killed after a fire occurred at a factory building in Anyang City, central China's Henan province, yesterday afternoon. According to a statement by local authorities today, the fire broke out just after 4:20 p.m. at the plant of a commerce and trade company in Anyang's Wenfeng district. Firefighters were able to extinguish the flames at around 11 p.m, according to the city's publicity department. 2 people who sustained minor injuries have been sent to hospital and are in stable condition, and related suspects have been put under police control. Authorities said the plant was a 2-story steel structure building in which the substances that caught fire, including plastics, cloth, furniture and medicines. A task group made up by relevant officials of the State Council Work Safety Committee and the Ministry of Emergency Management has been dispatched to the scene earlier this morning to direct the emergency response. Terengganu FC management issues public apology over stadium chaos. That and more next in sports. Selangor through to the Malaysia Cup final after 3-2 aggregate win despite losing 1-0 to Terengganu FC TFC in their semi-final return leg clash at the Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadium last night. The title showdown at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil on Saturday is set to be a blockbuster as 33-time record champion Selangor will try to stop current Malaysian giants Johor Takzim JDT from completing a clean sweep of domestic titles, having won the Super League and FA Cup. In last night's match, host TFC, trailing 1-3 after the first leg, made their intentions known early with 2 good attempts. TFC managed to narrow the aggregate score to 2-3 when skipper Cheche slotted home a pass from Muhammad Faisal Abdul Halim in the 35th minute. Boy, the TMC went all out looking for a second goal to tie the aggregate score, but Muhammad Faisal's effort was thwarted by Selangor custodian Muhammad Khairul Azhan Muhammad Khalid just 1 minute later. After the break, the Turtles continued in the same vein and thought they had levelled the aggregate score when Cheche found the net in the 56th minute, only for it to be disallowed for offside. Although an additional 7 minutes of injury time was added on, the Turtles failed to breach the Selangor backline, leaving the Red Giants to celebrate well into the night as they get ready to take on JDT on Saturday. In a related development, Terengganu FC expressed deep regret and strongly condemned the incident which took place outside the stadium after the match concluded yesterday. According to a statement on the official TFC Facebook page, the disruptive incident was caused by a few irresponsible fans. Their actions have tarnished the reputation of the team, especially among the general football community in the country. The TFC management openly issued an apology to Selangor FC over the incident and emphasized that it does not represent their club's image and idea, as well as the whole of fans who have demonstrated commitment and discipline throughout the Malaysia Cup and Super League campaign. A video that went viral on social media showed a bus carrying Selangor FC players was pelted with objects including stones which broke the windows. An investigation paper has also been opened up by Kuala Terengganu Police for further action. Mexico went through their final preparations ahead of their opening match of the World Cup against Poland in Qatar later at midnight. The national team, who missed out on top spot in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying group to Canada on goal difference, have been eliminated in the last 16 at every World Cup since 1994. Their clash with Poland could prove decisive in Group C, with Argentina, the heavy favourites, and Saudi Arabia the other side in the pool. Since the 2018 World Cup, Mexico have lost defender Rafael Marquez, one of the country's best ever players, to retirement. Head coach Gerard Martino also left out Javier Hernandez, Mexico's all-time leading scorer, despite his strong form this season. Mexico and Poland have played each other 9 times, with both teams winning 3 games and 3 ending in draws. Poland have not beaten Mexico since 1978, the only time they met at a World Cup. Meanwhile, France also partook in training as part of final preparations ahead of their first World Cup match against Australia tomorrow. The team has been hit by a series of injuries which ruled out key midfielders N'Golo Kante and Paul Pogba. Most recently, Ballon d'Or winner Benzema, who left the squad in the early hours of Sunday after withdrawing with a thigh injury, and centre-back Presnel Kimpembe. Captain Hugo Lloris said earlier in the day during a news conference that Benzema's absence is not going to disrupt France in their opening game against Australia. France manager Didier Deschamps says there is no anxiety within his side's camp at the World Cup, as he's convinced he has the efficient number of players to be able to deal with the challenges faced. The defending champions start their campaign in Group D at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, looking to beat the Socceroos just like they did to kick off their 2018 journey in Russia, before also playing against Tunisia and Denmark in the other Group D matches. The Badminton Association of Malaysia, BAM's move to invite professional players for weekly training sessions at the Academy of Badminton Malaysia ABM in Bukit Kiara will greatly benefit both sides. BAM Doubles Coaching Director Rasmi Manaki said similar joint training sessions conducted by the All Indonesia Badminton Association, PBSI, had succeeded in lifting the performance of their national players. He cited Indonesian senior men's doubles pair Muhammad Ahsan Hendra Setiawan as examples who still train with PBSI although they are professional players. Rexy said while the professional players serve as sparring partners, their coaches could exchange ideas with their BAM counterparts. BAM in a statement yesterday proposed that the training session for singles and doubles players be held on Wednesday and the second session for doubles on Friday. Rexy added BAM is still looking for high-quality coaches to fill the vacancies left by women's doubles head coach Chan Chong Min, Flandi Lampele for men's doubles, and Paulus Firman for mixed doubles, who resigned earlier this year. Alright, so that concludes today's news at 10. In our top story, King summons 40 BN MPs at Istana Negara tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in to updates at noon tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Till then, I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Thank you for watching.